Alrighty. Hello, whoever's out there. Welcome back to the stream. Let's see if my camera will focus. So today I am planning to just read another issue of Sandman. I realized that I was an issue ahead than I thought I was because I'm actually on issue number 5. I realized that when I was making the thumbnail for this, actual live stream, and I noticed that when I looked up the issue number 4 thumbnail, it's actually the one from last week, so that threw me off. But now I know we're on issue number 5. Also, hello Shannon, how you doing? Hope you're having a good time. Also, how is work? I'm kind of curious. Are you still getting settled in, or did you start? I actually don't remember that. Let me know. So I'm going to be reading issue number 5 today. I don't recall specifically what this one is about. I remember the earlier chapters of this comic, but everything beyond this point, I mean, there's another story that I know that's going to happen. Oh, wait, actually, you know what? I'm being dumb. I actually do remember exactly what happens next, because the show hasn't ended yet. I'm just being derpy for a second. Yeah, we're still on the same arc. There's no reason for me not to know what's going on next. But yeah, I think we have a couple more issues of this storyline, and then from there we have like a one shot, at least like one more one shot, and then from there it's going to go on to the next arc. So there's at least 1 or 2 issues left, I think, in this story. I think there's probably at least 2. But this comic book, I think it's not this one, but probably the following one after that is absolutely insane. So we'll see how far I get. I don't really know if I'm going to be doing anything other than reading today. It really depends on how I'm feeling in like another 30 minutes. However, that being said, I mean, I don't really want to set up like my soldering stuff. It's set aside all the way over there, and I don't really want to set it up right now. But if I decide to do something else, or if you guys want me to do something else once more people get here, that'll be that. We'll just figure it out from there. Although for now, the plan is just to do some reading. That's kind of why I set up the thumbnail the way that I did. But yeah, that's all for my intro, I guess. Without further ado, we can get into the actual comic. So let me just resend the link. Let's see if I already have it somewhere. Because I actually did not recall doing that. Let's see. There it is. Actually, let me see if I can just pin this. I might be able to. So yeah, I just pinned it. So if you go on Discord in the general chat and then go to the top right, I don't know if you've looked at pinned comments before, but yeah, it should be there. That way I don't have to repost this every time. Also, hello, Alex. How you doing? That is a very enthusiastic hello, I must say. I hope you're having a good day as well, considering how joyous that hello seems to be. Yeah, I am also doing well as well. I will say I had a very, very good work day today. I was very, very productive, and I was very focused for majority of the day, so that made me very, very glad. And I also went to the gym, so I did all the things I needed to do today, and I'm very glad with how today has been. I also woke up and I was just smiling because I actually woke up early, even though I was half asleep, but I was just happy about that as well. So today has been pretty decent on my end. Yeah, you're vibing? Yeah. I based off of what I just said, I think I'm also vibing. What I was saying before you got here was that I realized that I'm on the wrong, or I had the wrong issue number in my mind as to where we were, because the actual comic doesn't tell you which issue you're on. Like, it just has the next cover, and because these aren't being like sold as trades, it doesn't have the issue number on it. It doesn't even have like the Sandman listed on top. It's just the graphic or the art piece on there. So I assumed that we were on issue number 4. We're actually on issue number 5. I hope that didn't confuse anyone last week, because I mean, you'd probably had to catch up to where I was. Um, yeah. So anyway, we're on issue number 5 now. It has an interesting piece of artwork. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be representative of, but you can tell that like there's a bunch of cables and everything, and there is like circuit boards with a bunch of wiring, and there's just a dude that is being chained up in there as well. So not too sure what the specifics of what they're trying to say in here. I'm sure it's supposed to mean something. Also, what's weird to me about this cover is that it kind of just looks like they have like actual images superimposed here somewhere. Um, yeah, so yeah, that's just interesting to me because these look like actual images superimposed on the cover. Alex, I kind of wish you told me that you were on a different issue from what I had said, but that's okay. You probably just assumed that I misspoke, so I'll forgive you this time. But if I say something that doesn't quite make sense, just let me know, because it's also possible that I'm just not paying attention or I just missed something. But yeah, this artwork looks really really cool. I have no idea what it means, and even with the context of what I'm pretty sure this. I know the actual overarching like plot elements of this particular chapter or this particular issue. I don't remember the specifics of the conversation. However, I don't really know how that relates to the actual cover. So I'm going to be curious to see if I can actually figure that out. I'm sure there is a reason for it with how it was designed, but yeah, I just don't recall off the top of my head. Okay, yeah, yeah. I'm glad the summary helped you guys as well. I'm not going to do another summary today because, I mean, it hasn't been that long. It's been a week. The only things that happened last week were we went to hell and we got the helm back, right, from a demon. We had like we played the oldest game. I guess I am giving a bit of a recap now. I'm not going to recap from the very beginning of the story. But yeah, we played the oldest game. We won back the helm from the demon, and I say we, but it was the Sandman. So the Sandman is much more powerful than he was. He keeps getting more powerful as he's getting his items back, which is, pretty cool. And now he feels as though he is well equipped enough to try and chase after his ruby, which is his last item that was stolen from him back in issue number 1. So that's where we're at, and let's just jump into it. I hope you guys are ready. Alrighty. And now it's 2:15 a.m., April 1st, and the funeral march of a marionette tells us that Alfred Hitchcock represents another twisty tale for all you late night Gotham viewers. Pomda. I don't know how to do that particular sound. It's Pomda pop up Pom da Pom. All right, cool. I don't know how that's supposed to be pronounced in terms of those sounds, but that's okay. So what we're seeing is a particular gun. If you remember from the epilogue last week, that is a character that we met very, very briefly. I'm sure they're going to reintroduce him, but he just has his gun sticking out in that panel, and it just has more music playing. It's just more alliteration there. Hopefully that's the right word. I haven't been in an English class in quite some time. Good evening, fellow tourists. I think this proves that in some ways the airplane can never replace the train. Huh. And then we're at the dining hall, alrighty. And I gotta say, I believe his name is John D, right? I believe that's what he's called. He looks terrifying right now, like just looking at him. He looks half decayed, half dead. Which is just insane, and he's right next to a body that is in a precarious position. I'm not gonna. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the words online, but he's doing he's in. Oh wait, no, he's not dead. Never mind. I don't really care. He's hanging himself, but he's not dead. He's just kind of hanging there for some. He's having some fun. He's having some fun. I guess. So we see that John has noticed this guy, and it looks like he is the Scarecrow based off of the little artwork that's behind the dude's head. And let's see what he has to say while hanging from a noose, which is kind of crazy. But it is Gotham Asylum, so kind of makes sense. Surprise, it's only me. Now, nobody tell anybody else. No, oh, now don't tell anybody else about this. There's nothing like a good hanging to scare people witless. I'll stick out my tongue and I'll be white as a sheet, and they'll all look up at me, and then I'll go, April Fool. Fear of pain is algophobia. I don't know what fear of hanging is called. You're the doctor, aren't you? Some people are afraid of doctors. It's called aerophobia, Dr. Destiny. Aren't you meant to be locked up downstairs? Shh! You mustn't tell anyone. I'm escaping. My mother died. She gave me her amulet. It keeps people safe from things. She told me that. She gave me a ruby too. She gave me my ruby too, but now she died. But now she's dead. Shall I tell you what I'm going to do? Tell me, tell me. I'm going to get the ruby back. The mat. The matter eopti con? Okay. And then I'll drive everybody in the whole wide world mad. And then they'll make me king. It sounds scary. Have a nice time. And you must promise me when you get back to tell me all about it. You don't understand. I'm going to rule the world or destroy it. I'm not coming back. Yes, but we always come back here. It's so scary outside. If you see the Joker, tell him to hurry back. It isn't April Fool's Day without his little jokes, but I'm doing my best. I left another next door. He left another next door. Did he kill someone next door? Oh, he did. He did. Okay. Yes, I see it. It's very funny. Bye-bye. Okay, that's not dark at all. All right, next panel. He's jumping out the window. He's escaping. Hello. I'm going to find my mat, my ruby. You're going to drive me. I'll tell you where to stop. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Okay, so that's a little different from the show, actually. That's interesting. Those aren't words. I flee past gray borders, down the darling road to long shadows. I skirt the fire pits and lose myself in the heart of the Armageddon. It doesn't matter where I go. All roads lead back to Granny. Happiness is the heart. That's Granny. Rip out your heart for Granny. Granny loves you. Granny loves me, so she has them bind me in chains, encase my feet in concrete. She wraps me tight in her love and her voice, ties me tight with steel and granite. I've been a bad little boy. I said a bad thing. I left her. And this is what they do to bad little boys. They put them in the murder machine. Interesting. Is this a dream? I'm not too sure about this. Okay. I leave the coffin behind. I sidestep the knives, leap through the flames. The bomb explodes, but I am not where I was. The floor vanishes. I do not fall into the acid pit. I reach the womb, the exit, the box. It's the last trip. Somehow I know that. The last exit. All I have to do is type my name, my real name, my true name. And the door will open and I will be scot-free. Arail hangs there, sweet Arail. My first love, her feet burned away and her eyes churning with maggots. What do I call you? She asks me. Not scot-free. Scot-free was just Granny's joke. Zepp and Bravo and Weldung hang in warning. Wait. Oh, we're in a nightmare. Okay, I know what's going on. Zepp and Bravo and Weldon hang in warning. Lowlies, who never escaped the Armageddon, the black blood of a bygone decade crusted in their necks. Your name, they say. Tell us your name, and we'll let you go. And then we got a person without eyeballs. And then we go back to, I think that's the other guy. What's your name, my love? I don't know. I'm going to die. Okay. It's over, child. You can wake up now. I open my eyes on a strange room, and for a moment, I don't know where I am. The disorientation passes. A bedroom in the JLI embassy in Manhattan, a long way from Acropolis. It was only a dream. So, I don't know what the JLI is. I'm assuming it's something to do with the Justice League, but I don't know what the I stands for. Maybe it's Justice League International. That might be what it is. That is very possible. But if it was only a dream, what are you doing here? And who are you? You want a name, scot-free? I am a friend. I have come to reclaim something of mine, a ruby. Okay, now we're back to the car, right? With this insane asylum escapee. Turn left here. Listen, Buster, I'm warning you. You lay a finger on me, and I'll so help me. You try anything. My husband's a mafia hitman. He'll kill you. So don't even think it. Don't. Oh God, don't. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. It's just that. Sorry. You escaping from prison? No, from Arkham, the madhouse. Oh, Jesus. Honestly, the word choice for the different characters is on point. I really like it. All right. My mother died last week. She was very old. That was when I knew I had to get away from that place. Oh, I'm sorry. Say, why aren't you, wearing anything? They took my clothes away. They were scared I would kill myself, hang myself with a shirt, perhaps. Aren't you cold? Yes, very cold. Well, there's an old coat of Harry's, my husband's in the back. Why don't you put it on? You must be freezing. A coat? That's very nice of you. I'd like to wear a coat. Thank you. They definitely have distinct voices. Yeah, yeah, they do. They all have different dictions. They all like. It's very clear that they have different personalities and like the reactions, especially for the character that we just met, who I don't think we got her name yet. She has a very different way of talking from the guy next to her, as well as in comparison to Dream, right? In comparison to pretty much everyone. So I really like that it's all very clear that they're different people. And I think that's probably pretty difficult to do as a writer. So I do appreciate that. Also, it says the actual issue is called Passengers here. Okay, I'll search the old Justice League of America files, and I think we've found it. Should be up on the screen any second. Here you go. Taken from some psycho calling himself Dr. Destiny. He was using it to affect people's dreams, make nightmares real, that kind of thing. So it was kept in the trophy room on the satellite. Where's the satellite? And my ruby? Space junk, destroyed. Could have been destroyed, could have been moved to the Detroit Fortress or the Secret Sanctuary, or you don't know? Not a clue. Somebody must know. Yeah, Is this kind of thing going to happen every time I stay here overnight? Don't answer that. Let me see. Batman? No, it's 3:30 a.m. He'll be at work. Who else was in the old JLA? Got it. Let's go wake him up. I believe I know who they're bringing. Let me just. Yeah, I do. I knew who they were looking at. I just looked a few pages ahead. I was pretty sure I remembered. What's your name? Rosemary. Rosemary. That's for remembering. So what should I call you? I used to call myself Destiny. Dr. Destiny. It wasn't my name. My mother called me John. John Boy. Dream Boy. I was a real doctor. Not a medical one. A scientist one. Now I'm just Dr. D. Dr. John D. John, I've got some sandwiches in a lunch pail behind my seat if you're hungry. No, thank you. I'm never very hungry anymore. Look, John, I'm a nurse. You can tell me. I won't freak. Is it the big A? The big A? AIDS. Helpers. AIDS. You know, the disease. Is that why you look like you do? Where have you been for the last 5 years? Locked up, in the darkness, in a maximum security cell in the basement of Arkham. Oh, I should have. Sorry. They put me there, and they forgot about me. John, who's this they? You keep talking about the police? No, I did foolish things. Things to gravity, to identity. I traded their faces with their enemies. I pretended I was their number. Who, John? The costumed hero. The costumes, the heroes. The Justice League of America. Yeah, I remember them. They've changed. Now they're international with, embassies and stuff. Now they're the JLI. As you say, it was a long time ago. Knock, knock. Scott, you know what time it is? I hope this is important. Yeah, sorry. I know, it's nearly 4, John, but you're the only member of the JLA who's still around. We got a visitor. You. Lord Zoil, I greet you humbly. May you guard us in the darkness and on the pathway between waking hours, and protect us in the dreams from the flame of your wrath. A Martian? I thought your kind were eons gone. I am the last of my race. I seek a ruby, last Martian. It was known to your kind as Dorilar, the stone of binding. It was taken from a human, kept as a souvenir. Where is it now? What happens to the old trophies, to the old JLA trophies, John? That stuff, it's in storage. I thought it might be kinda nice to put it on display somewhere, but it's kind of hokey. Where? A warehouse, upstate Gotham. Little town called Mayhew. I can get you the exact address. There is no need, I thank you, last Martian. If you wish, you may dream of the city of foctive mirrors. I thank you both. I hope you find your name scot-free. Good night. Who was that? A very old god. A very old god. Come, scot-free. Let us hit the kitchen. I have a secret stash of Oreos, of which you are welcome to partake. Dang, I'm jealous. I want some Oreos. I don't have any Oreos here. That's unfortunate. That's really, really rude. How can you mention Oreos and then expect me not to crave Oreos? That's just mean. That's really, really mean. I am hurt by that. I'm offended. Okay, I need my Oreos now. This book right here, it should come with my very own set of Oreos. I think so. I think it should just be a free complimentary thing. It's very cruel that they don't do that. I hope you agree, Alex. It seems like you do, because Oreos are in fact yummy. Alright, let's keep going. Mother said, if you are going to be a criminal, John, You are not going to bring shame to the family name. I had to change it. I called myself Destiny. D is for destiny. Now mother's dead. It doesn't matter anymore. Now I can be D again. D is for lots of things. Death, dust, darkness, demons. Yeah, well, speaking of as a mother of two little girls, John, if either of them announced they wanted to be master criminals, I'd tell them to change their names. Makes a change Make a change from telling Amy and Jesse to tidy up their rooms, I suppose. I'm not a black magician. I didn't say you were, John. I know, not you. The others, scientists. I'm a hermetic philosopher and a scientist too, truly. If I wasn't a scientist, I couldn't have done what I did to the ruby. Do you know what dreams are really made of, Rosemary Kelly? Made of. They're just dreams. No, they aren't. People think dreams aren't real because they aren't made of matter, of particles. Dreams are real, but they're made of viewpoints, of images, of memories, and puns and lost hopes. The ruby seems to turn them into matter. It forces them to translate themselves into forms we can recognize in this world. It also controls dreams in their raw state. Your dreams, anybody's dreams. I don't know where Mother got the ruby from. She had a lucky charm as well. She wouldn't give that, not while she lived. I built machines that the ruby powered. Then I built the machines of my dreams, but they stopped me dreaming. So I had to use the ruby directly. I coded circuitry into its clasps. I changed its resonance, I irradiated it, I forced flaws, I isolated it from its original power source, whatever or whoever that was. I made it more real. I changed it. So I guess that makes sense as to why the artwork at the front is the way that it is, because he altered the ruby with circuitry. So that makes more sense. I just didn't recall that particular aspect. Red Velvet Oreos. Has it really been years since we've had Red Velvet Oreos? I don't normally go for like specialty Oreos. I always go for either like the traditional ones, or maybe every now and again I'll go for the what are they called? The vanilla. Are they vanilla ones? The ones that have like the cream colored cookies, right? Those are the only two ones that I traditionally get normally. Apart from those, I will. I don't know. I'll just have regular ones. I just don't really. I guess I don't really order Oreos apart from traditional Oreos all that often, and I also don't really get Oreos that often either. Alrighty. Let's keep going. The ruby seems to turn them into matter. It forces them to translate themselves into forms that. Oh wait, I already read that part. Let's go further down. It isn't a ruby, really. It's a solid dream. It's the only dream I have. Nobody else can use it anymore. Nobody but me. And we're close to it now. I want to drink its light. To drink the light of my ruby. Mayhew, 5 miles. Alright. I am a passenger. I am moving through your dreams. I am riding in your dreams. I ride on Dragonback from Manhattan. The dragon is made of riveted iron, and smells of cotton candy. I travel briefly by bus. In the back, the dreamer copulates desperately, not noticing his autonomous passenger. I sit at the front and talk to the driver. Oh, that's intriguing. Okay, I recognize that creature that's driving the bus. That's really funny. Approaching the state of Delaware, the dreamer is a small dog, dreaming impatiently of a past life, long forgotten, where he sailed Tall ships across uncharted seas. The salt spray of the ocean strings my face. I am moving through dreams, pulled towards Mayhew, feeling for the jewel. Through your dreams, my sleeping children, you had a passenger, and you never knew. Okay. And now he's there with his sand. He's at the Mayhew storage facility. Walks in the door. I feel like there should be a bit more security than one guy at the JLI storage facility. But hey, I mean, I guess to each their own. I mean, I can't really complain there. It's not my facility. It's not my responsibility. But hey, it is what it is. I see, Shannon, you mentioned golden Oreos. Is that? Oh, I guess that's what they're actually called. Good to know. I just look and see if they're there. I don't really look for particular types of Oreos. I know I keep mentioning this, but I'm not looking at the chat one-to-one. Yeah, I never really like particularly look for Oreos. It's just kind of like if they're there, I will grab them if I'm feeling it. And so very rarely though, if I see some golden Oreos, I'll pick those up. Apart from that, I don't really necessarily look for other flavors just because sometimes they're a little too sweet for me. Although perhaps that's just me also just having a preference of the baseline Oreos. Anyway, so we got Sandman walking through the door, and he finds his ruby at last. Okay, he pulls it closer, tries to use his powers, but it looks like something's going wrong. I wonder what might that be. It's not like we just spent a couple pages with D mentioning how he altered the ruby, so only he's the only one that could use it. I wonder what else it could be. No, it's just that. That is exactly what it is. Since Dr. D decided to alter the ruby, now even the Sandman who originally created it is no longer connected to it, no longer able to use it. So yeah, now he feels like a backlash of energy. He now falls to the ground unconscious. Okay. Yes, I'm sure this is the place. Okay, John, listen, I hope it all goes okay, you know? John, keep the coat. Harry won't mind, and I'd hate to think that you're wandering around freezing and get help, okay? Thank you, Rosemary. Rosemary, your husband, Harry. Is he really a mafia hitman? Harry? God, no. It was just something I said when I was, scared you were a dangerous crazy or something. Harry's a high school teacher. Oh. Well, I don't suppose it would have made any difference either way. And then he shoots her. Yeah. It's pretty brutal right there. D D D D. D D D. Hello, my baby. He doesn't even care that Sandman's right there on the ground. Did a naughty man try to use my baby? He didn't know that you are mine these days, all mine, every glint and facet. Oh baby, you feel even more powerful than before. Where did the extra energy come from? Have you been fickle? Have you been with someone else? It doesn't really matter, darling. We're together again. That's all that counts. So that extra power that came in, I don't know if they explained that directly here, but it's essentially what happened is when that backlash came, it absorbed extra energy from the Sandman. So a ton of his power was a ton more of his power was absorbed and stored inside the ruby. So now the Sandman's even weaker than he was. I don't really know how that corresponds to how powerful he was after he lost all three of his items. Like, I don't know if he gained back all of his power and then lost all of his power, or if it means that, like, he gained back a lot of his power and then lost some of his power. Wow, I've been out of focus for quite some time. That's really, really funny. Let's just zoom in a bit and hope that helps. Yeah, also it's like a little low in terms of the POV, but I don't have a way to raise up my camera, so hopefully this is okay. I'll try to stay a little bit more still so it actually stays focused on my face. We're on the last page of this issue. So go, my little love, touch the world, eat their hearts and poison their dreams, rip their nightmares into the daylight, and scum their sleep with creeping fear. Yes. Hello, miss. I would like a cup of coffee. While I wait. Sure, hun. That'll be 50 cents. 50 cents? I want a cup of coffee for 50 cents. What the heck? That's insane. I would love that. That would be fantastic. Maybe then I'd actually go out and get coffee instead of making coffee at home. What in the heck? Okay. Sure, hun. Oh, I already read that. Oh, the usual. The end of the world. Oh, I missed part of that line. What are you waiting for? Oh, the usual, the end of the world. And that is the end of this issue. A very good read. I really enjoyed that one. I might end up reading the next chapter. Let me just jump ahead to see how much more we have to read. Let's see. Okay. So we got one. And we got okay, it looks like we have 2 more issues in this particular storyline. Maybe I should read another chapter. I might just do that. I think so. Also, thank you, Alex. I'm glad you enjoyed the narration. I tried my best. I think I've been doing like slightly different voices. I'm not trying too hard because I'm not particularly good with voices. Like I've never practiced hugely different voices before. But I've been trying to have like a slightly different cadence for some of them. So, especially like at least the main characters. So I think I've gotten a little bit better. I also practiced obviously last Monday when no one was listening a bit. So I've done it 3 times technically now with this issue as well. So I think I've gotten a little bit better. And I just think it also makes it a little bit more fun to change the way that you're talking for different characters. I'm out of focus again. No. There we are. See, why am I in focus when I'm this close to the camera? That's not helpful. I need to be in focus when I'm back here. And now now it did that. Wonderful. I'm just being weird. Yeah. That's really weird. Okay, so while I'm reading normally, it has a problem, I guess. But now that I'm actually trying, it's fine, but I don't know. I'm not too sure. I wish it would just stay in like one focus position. I don't know if there's a way to like lock it that way. Perhaps it's like because I'm using OBS right now. I don't think there's a camera setting that I could do in OBS that would do that, but it would be helpful. Also, thank you. I appreciate you noticing the personality on that as well, in terms of how I'm talking. So, I'm trying. This chapter this issue, by the way, that I'm about to read is insane. It is also pretty gory as well. So just be aware. Things divulge or things will pop off towards the end. So yeah, let's get into the next chapter. I believe this one is titled 24 Hours. Hour 1. The flies walked into the web. Bet. Can I have a coffee refill and a tuna on rye? Sure, hun. On her days off, after she's tidied the house, Bet Monroe writes stories. She writes them all in longhand on yellow legal pads. Sometimes she writes about her ex-husband Bernard and about her son, Bernard Jr., who went off to college and never came back to her. She makes these stories end happily. Most of her stories, however, are about her customers. They look at her and they just see a waitress. They don't know she's nursing a secret. A secret that keeps her aching. A secret that keeps her aching calf muscles and her coffee scalded fingers and her weariness from dragging her down. For some reason, I was having some trouble there. I don't know why, but that's okay. It happens when I talk for a long time sometimes. It's her secret. She's never shown anyone her stories. Coming right up! One rye on tuna. One day she knows she'll package the pads up, bind them in brown paper, and send them to Dear Abby, or Earl Wilson, or Jackie Collins, and a coffee there. They'll read them and they'll publish them, and everyone will marvel at her deception of her depiction of happy small town life. But you're a writer, Johnny Carson will say to her. How do you know what it's like to be a waitress? She'll smile. She won't tell them. It'll be her secret. Something Bet talks to them so easily because she's a waitress. They don't realize she's a writer gathering material. Bet, I'm going to use the bathroom. If Donna comes by, tell her to wait, okay? Sure, Judy. She already knows Judy's story. She isn't small-minded. A waiter can afford to be. What those girls do is a sin against God. It's unnatural, but still, Bet feels sorry for them. And in her stories, she's already married both of them off to fine young men. I guess you could probably tell what the difference in time frame of this story, because I believe this takes place in the 90s, so you can kind of tell the difference in like the narration as to why this character thinks the way that she does. Although, I mean, there are still people that would probably think the same way now, but you know, it's more commonplace, I guess, back 30 years ago to have those type of thoughts. Ma'am, could I trouble you for more coffee over here, if you please? No trouble at all, hun. It's not even 11. You still got an hour to kill. Yeah, I know. A young man now. He'd spoken to her easy as anything, just as if he was really talking to a waitress. Tell them you're a writer and they shut up tighter than clams. He's going for an interview with that big chemical works. Maybe tonight she'll write a story about him. He'll get the job. Marry the boss's daughter. I said it's all meringue and razor blades, and she said meringue. I don't know what that word means. I've never heard that word before. Let me know if you know, because you know what, maybe I should just search that because I'm reading about it, and if I read something and don't know what I just read, should probably figure it out. What does that mean? It is a sweet food made by baking a mixture of stiffly beaten egg whites and sugar until crisp. Okay. Ooh, I'm seeing a bunch of pictures of it too. That's pretty cool. That's kind of delicious. Um, oh, it's meringue. Okay, I've heard people say meringue before. I knew that it was sweet, but that makes more sense. It's just the way that it's spelled. It's meringue, because it's meringue. So it'd be like, oh, meringue, because you have the gu. But okay, that makes sense. Um, Yeah, there are certain words like that you just can't understand by reading them. Like perhaps you've heard them before, but you just wouldn't know until like you've heard it and written them or read them at the same time. But yeah, I didn't recall it. I didn't realize that was the same word. Anyway, cheeseburger, black coffee, please Bet. You, Kate? I'll have a salad, low cal dressing, and a shanka with low fat milk if you have it. Uh huh. I'll see to it. I'll have to see. Now this couple, the Fletchers, town talk had it Town talk had it he married her for her money, but Bet could see they doted on each other, like lovebirds. Take one lovebird away and the other hanger. Oh, sorry. Take one lovebird away, and the other hangers and dies. Okay. Zippity doo dah, zippity day. Wow, I've never actually heard someone say that before. I do wonder if people back in the day actually said that, possibly considering this person's just saying that. I wonder if that's like probably supposed to be from an actual song somewhere. I would be very curious to know about that. But like, I've just heard that and I'm like, I don't think that comes from anywhere. I think that's just a sound people make for some reason. But I've only ever heard that like once or twice when I was younger. But I don't think I've ever heard that in like the last 15 years. Um, all Bet's stories have happy endings. That's because she knows where to stop. She realized the real problem with stories. If you keep them going long enough, they always end in death. Hi, Bet. When you're ready. With you soon, Marsh. Marsh's story she knows already. Bet's sort of looked after Marsh since Marcia died. Marsh and Marcia, the writer in her whispers, they were obviously meant for each other. Oh, that's a really funny. That's a really funny like thing to put in parentheses because you're also like, my first thought was, why did the robber, um, or robber, why did the writer choose those names? And then they immediately addressed it. The song, I don't know if it's a song. I think it's literally just a sound because she says at the top of this like page, zippity doo dah, zippity day, and I'm like, is that just a sound that people do when they're like bored, or like back in the day, or is that an actual song? That's what I was referring to, Alex. Keeping on going. But Marcia drank herself to death, died yellow and whispering in a sanitarium. Oh, thanks. Marsh, he went sort of crazy after that. A good mailman gone bad. State pen, stealing from the malls, 5 years. He's a trucker these days, working out of some upstate town that had never heard of him. But he still looks in on her every few weeks. For old time's sake. When did you get off, honey? You know, Marsh, not until after lunch. It's okay. I'll wait. They weren't just customers, they were raw material. Honestly, that's kind of a weird way to look at people. But I mean, I kind of understand, but also like, they're also people. There are customers still, and they're also raw material. But it's a very intriguing way. Perhaps it's like the outlook there is kind of selfish in a sense because it's like, yes, I'm only seeing you as material for this eventual book that I'll probably never actually write. But in my head, that's your actual purpose. Very intriguing. I wonder if you guys agree with that. Let me know. Even the quiet little stranger in the corner seat. He's been here since she came on shift this morning, nursing coffee after coffee, hardly drinking at all, just watching them cool, away in a dream world of his own. She wonders about him. She'll talk to him when things get quieter, draw him out. Then tonight, when Marsh has climbed into his truck and headed back upstate, she'll write a story about him. And in her story, she'll make him happy. Hour 2. He was forced to act to prevent any of the flies from leaving. I don't believe it. I'm going to be late for my interview. Jesus. Oh, no, 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 no. Ma'am, I'm leaving $5 on the table. That should cover it. I'm sorry. Sorry. If I run, maybe I can make it. Oh, gosh. Ah, heck. Oh. Oh, I am, Ma'am? More coffee, if it's no trouble. Sure. Right? Sure, right? Coffee. Great coffee. Hour 3. Afternoon soap opera. It's called Zippity Doo Dah. I was taught it in elementary school morning sing along, but apparently it's from Song of the South. Okay, so it's an actual song. Okay, that's interesting. Why is there a frowny face? Is that not a good song? Let me know because I've never heard of that before. Uh, Oh, it's a okay. Gotcha. Good to know. I didn't realize that it was a racist song. Maybe that's why people don't hum it anymore. Um, that's really interesting. Okay. Hour three, afternoon soap opera. Please, I would like to watch the television. Will you make it work? You want the TV on? No problem. Hi, Rosie. Yeah, it's me, Judy. Listen, have you seen Donna today? We had a fight last night, and I'm sort of worried. Split up? No, of course we haven't. It's just her mom. You think she might have gone back to her mom? In yesterday's pulse-churning episode of Secret Stars, you mean the dear? You mean I married my dentist? But if my Siamese twin is HIV positive, doctor, doesn't that mean? Gasp! I'm not just a crazy Kara. I'm a crazy with a gun. Say your prayers. Hello, Miss Kavanaugh. This is Judy, Donna's friend. Have you seen Donna? You don't have to approve of me, Miss Kavanaugh, but I just want to. Miss Kavanaugh, hello? Tight-assed old hag. Sorry, I wish I were dead. Okay. Hour 4. He watched television. Look, everyone. It's Dino. Yay! Honestly, that just looks like Kermit to me. Does that not look like Kermit to me? Oh, the movie it's from is racist. Okay. Gotcha. Good to know. Hey kids, Dino the dinosaur is trying to tell me something. Hey Dino, I didn't know it was Terry Paradon. What? I don't know how to say that word. I'm assuming the P is silent, maybe. Ter an odd. Ter Adon's birthday today. Should we bake him a cake? Wow, I really tried there. Hopefully, that was close enough. And you want to tell me something else? You Dino? He's listening. Honestly, this dude's face looks very much like the Joker. It's kind of terrifying. We're gonna die. Dino says we're all gonna die. Dino told me. He says we should slash our wrists now. Alright, I'm just gonna say, like, trigger warning. If you're watching this video, just like this is a rough issue, and you've probably already you could tell so far, based off of what you've seen, but this is definitely a rough issue specifically. And it's a mature comic in general. And remember to slash down the wrist. Oh. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna say this a little quieter. I don't really know how to say this with an enthusiastic voice, but like you can really tell that he is using an enthusiastic voice here. Okay, I'm just gonna skip the rest of that bubble just because I don't really feel comfortable saying that out loud. Yeah. Dino's Kid Vid Playhouse. Please stand by. We're experiencing technical difficulties. And you just see D laughing like crazy there. I wonder what's altering the people in the comic so far. Hour 5. The flies get restless. I'm saying it's weird. Nobody's come in. It seems like we must have been here for hours. But it seems like we just came in. Something's very, I love this place. Me too. Anyway, I had these horrible dreams this morning. Horrible. Hour 6. Dear Donna, I don't blame you for all you said about us last night, and I said I was sorry after I hit you. And I am sorry. I'm saying it's weird. Nobody came in. It seems like we must have been, Donna, I love you. I only hurt you because I was scared of losing you. I'm sorry. And then the dude's happy again. The girl's just laying down into her arm. Hour 7. He makes them feel good. He makes their dreams come true. He gives them what they want. And Mark says, let's do lunch. Have your people call my people. Money. Executive director is his new title. Good for him. He's got money in the background. And Gary's having a $20 hooker in the convertible. Then he'll beat her up, throw her out of the car, drive off. She gets such a kick out of doing that. And Kate knows she'll never have to worry about Gary's little infidelities again. No more lipstick on his collar. He's all hers. He's just beheaded. That is pretty rough there. Okay. Hour 8. He moves among them, experiences their little pleasures, their minor joys. Also, by the way, like, you guys can tell how rough this, like, issue is, I'm sure, like, at this point. Oh, Murray, you just showed up. When did you show up? I didn't notice, or did you just come in? I'm a little okay. Yeah, you just came in. Yeah, I'm on issue number 6 right now. This is a very, very rough chapter, by the way. Like, just so you know, just like to be aware, this is a rough chapter to read. It's very, very heavy. So just be aware now that because you just joined. We're about midway through, but it's like really gonna get gruesome now. The jewel whispers to him, or elsewhere pains and elsewhere pains and faraway madness, of far off deaths and distant terrors. This comforts him. He feels echoes of their dreams. Bet has dislodged Stephen King from the bestseller list. It does little for him. Simple pleasures no longer excite him. Judy's bittersweet reunion with Donna provides fractionally more stimulation for him. And Marsh thinks he's dead. Drank himself to hell and gone, rigid on a slab. His liver has failed, his skin is slowly gotten cold. Dee almost gets enjoyment from that. Nearly as much enjoyment as he gets from watching his jewel in action. News at 6. Is everybody going crazy? Reports are coming from across the state about a wave of madness, suicides, and bad dreams. Pleasure. Jeez, the artwork. This is terrifying. Like, this is so brutal. Just to read. Like, if you really, really think about it, it's so terrifying. Hour 9. Conflict. He decides. Reveals character. Ugh. Filthy dyke bitch. Oh, that is a bad word. I'm annoyed that I had to say that. I didn't even think. Ugh. That's a bad word. Especially by today's standards. Like, I understand. Again, the time frame was different. Like, the time frame in this story is different. So people are, I guess, more comfortable with those types of terminologies. And you understand that the people doing and saying these things are in the wrong, but dang, it's rough. Anyway, hour 10, they love him. D, we love you, D. Beautiful, you're so beautiful. Hour 11, he catches up on the news. Nightmares, sleeplessness, and insanity reported earlier on local news in shaping up to be a planet-wide phenomenon. Reports have already come in from Asia and Europe of accidents and disasters, from people falling asleep and on freeways, planes crashing, botched surgeries. Here, with a full report, is Mary Gettian. Mary? Leading fundamentalists have already begun to proclaim the Armageddon. Internationally, people can't sleep, or they have nightmares, and anybody even marginally mentally unbalanced is going over the edge. Marsh, honey, please calm down. Please, she's just a kid. Filth. Okay, I'm not gonna. Okay. You bastard, I'll kill you. Let me go, I'll kill him. All you need is a proper man, a real man. I'll show you, I'll give it to you. Dr. D. Wow, this is a very different scene, by the way, in the show. There's an episode that adapts this comic, but it's because they slightly alter D's character as well in terms of his motivations, so it works better for the story. So I kind of forgot how like terrible this particular issue is, and it's terrifying. Um, please don't. Dude, that's also where my brain went as I kept reading. I was like, what if someone just clips that, me saying that one word? Like, you can't really, like, for the most part, you can't see the comic because I'm like reading it down here and like looking down. So, like, that is kind of terrifying. Like, to think that someone might actually do that in like 10 years. Like, oh my God, that would not be fun to see, I guess. Anyway, let's keep going and not think about that potential horror. Let's see. Dr. D, great and wise and wonderful. D. He licks the blood from the man's finger. A god must not appear ungracious towards the sacrifice. However, he derives no satisfaction from it. He doesn't know what he wants to eat. There must be something. No international superheroes were available for comment, so I spoke to Herschel of local super team, the amazing Herschel and Betty. Hi, am I on? Is this working? Yeah. Well, me and Betty, we figure it's probably Ray's. And finally, in Baltimore, a woman claims she's taught her duck to tap dance. More on that after the break. You know, that's a good dream. Honestly, that one is a good dream. Having your duck just start tap dancing. Honestly, if I owned a duck and it just started tap dancing, that'd be fantastic. I'd call the news for that. That'd be really really cool, and that'd be a positive story. I feel like people would just have some levity from that, especially in a chapter like this. Hour 12. If it is time for them to get to know each other better. Worst, most shameful thing I've ever done. Oh, gee, I can't tell you. I can't. I was 18. I was at college. I was drunk. To begin with, I was drunk anyway. Next door to my apartment was a funeral home. My boyfriend had just split. That. Oh, I think I know what she's gonna say. That was why I got drunk and I was horny and crazy. This is rough. I already like you can tell. I'm sure you can guess without even reading the next panels. Where is this going? Funeral home. I was drunk. I was in the mood. Where is this going? I just walked and I found myself outside the funeral home and I just sort of tried the door. I think maybe I was looking for some place to pee. A ladies' room, and the door opened, and it was the mortuary. There was a body on the table, young guy. You could see he'd been, good looking. And I thought I'd be freaked out, but I wasn't. I was kind of excited. I went over to the body and I started to play with it. Again, like honestly, it's one thing to like read the comic and then it's another thing to like say it out loud. It just I don't know. In a way, it feels more real because, like, when you're just reading yourself, like in your head, you're like you can read it much faster, and like also, I don't know. It's just a different thought process. I feel like in some ways. Let me know if you guys agree with that. Like, if you read something out loud, um, do you feel like if you read something like horrible out loud, like it's more like oh no, like I just read that, like, or if it's like when you're just reading it in your mind. That's something that I'm curious about because I've definitely been feeling that with this comic, especially this issue. It was already a bit rough when they had like the previous issue where you had Scarecrow hanging up before and then his little present that we got to see. Yeah, so it's rough trying to read these out loud. It's also it's just rough to read because like you just think about these stories and it's like this like it's very intriguing in terms of like the commentary on the world but also like it is a hard thing to read through even though it's just a comic book, right? You could say like oh it's just a comic book, right? It shouldn't be that hard to read, it's like fun and whatever. It's but like you can still do some crazy things in the medium of comics, and this is just one of those examples, right? You can write a fantastic story that has so many layers in it, and um, yeah, it's very intriguing. And all of a sudden, blood started to well up in his mouth, and I put my face down and I. Oh, wait, I skipped a bit of it. Then I climbed on top of him and I started really going. And all of a sudden, blood started to well up in his mouth, and I put my face down and I don't know. I don't want to tell you this. I don't want to tell anybody this. Sometimes when I'd made love to Gary and asked him to lie there real still, I'd close my eyes and pretend, but it was never the same. All right. Yeah, these are definitely things that you should probably keep to yourself. Um yeah. That's intriguing. I mean, I on some level, like, I feel like everyone has. I mean, this is the idea of the shadow. If you've heard about that at all, but it's like the part of yourself that you don't really want to look at. But like, if this is your shadow, right? If you're thinking, oh, let's get my rocks off in this particular manner, I mean, sure, you should probably confront yourself on that front and see, like, actually look at yourself for what you are in that sense and what you've done and all of that. Like, I think that's a good idea. But like, I don't know if you really want to publicize that. That's kind of rough. Because there's a difference between like any type of immoral thought versus actually acting on those thoughts. Those are two different things, right? I think everyone has immoral thoughts in general, and like people have them to varying degrees depending on who you are, where you are in life. But I think that everyone is capable of like very, very bad thoughts. Like, it's very, very possible that you could have like the worst possible thoughts in the world, and yet that doesn't define you. It's more like your actual actions. And this person has actually acted on these things. It is not a Persona reference. If it was a Persona reference, I would not have known what it was. But you can think of it as a Persona reference if you really, really like to. Although I doubt that it has anything to do with what I just said. It's a Sonic reference? Okay. I also don't know any of the Sonic lore, so I couldn't comment on that either. All right, so now we are at hour number 13. They get to know each other intimately. The house is a museum. Now I gotta make these sounds, really. You guys can read this on your own. um, all right, you can tell they're getting their rocks off. All right, I'm just not comfortable reading this right now. Um, at least not the sounds. I'm not gonna say the sounds. All right, Jesus. Oh, do it now. Do it. This is so awkward, man. Um, the Adams family is on the radio apparently. Bastard. All of you are such bastards. Yes. Now, yes. All right. And then you just see John D in the corner or on the table just saying, "Neat." Okay. Okay, bro. Alrighty then. Hour 14 midnight, and he consulted oracles. Tell me my future. You came from dust, you walk the dust, you go back to dust. Tell me my future. There is no future for you, John D. It's a future bounded by walls and guards and the sour smell of madness. And then the skein of your life is cut, son of your mother. Tell my future. You have stolen some of the power of dreams. You will take all of it. You will crush out the Dream Lords. Even Dream Lord's life in your hands, John D. That's good. I like the future. Clever. Flies. Clever little insects. Okay, so that's interesting. Because you would think that that's actually a premonition of the future. Because of like that, you have the three sisters, which we saw like very, very early on, like I think issue number 2, where Dream was asking about where his items were, and like they very much mimic the 3 questions here. That's very, very cool. Hour 15. He gave them back their minds for a while. Why? What did we do? Why us, goddammit? Why are you doing this stuff to us? You're going to kill us. Why? Because I can. Hour 16, party games. Murder in the dark. Ah! Hour 17, confession and penance. Bet, you know Marcia knew about us. That was why she'd been drinking. I hated her. I mean, she's the only woman I ever loved, but I hated her. New Year's Eve, I blew my whole paycheck on a crate of vodka, left it in our bedroom, went out of town for a week. When I got back, she was in the hospital. I as good as killed her. I'll tell you something else. When I saw in the pen, I saw your son, little Bernie. He'd been hustling his ass in Gotham, got picked up for knifing his pimp. You could have you could have him for a pack of cigarettes. I don't I don't I don't want to hear this shit. Bet I did. So they didn't say it explicitly, but you can kind of tell what he's getting at if you reread. If you didn't catch it there, you could reread what he's talking about with her son. Yeah. Um, this is again terrifying. Hour 18. He brings out the beast in them. The old male gnaws at its trapped front legs. It has followed the pack at a distance for years, hunting for scraps. The females, nervous of the coming conflict, huddle together for comfort. The pack leader is spoiling for a fight. They growl. The young male advances. Soon the females will be all his. The pack leader pauses, then springs. Even a man who is pure in the heart and says his prayers each night. Just got a message. Let me silence my phone. The pack leader's teeth are strong and sharp. He's a good leader. The challenge has been met. Oh, the victory, like the blood, is sweet. Hour 19. He lies to them. To prove it's safe, I'll have the green side, you have the left. Trusting the wicked queen, Snow White took a bite from the rosy red apple, and instantly fell down as if she were dead. But she's not really dead, is she? Dr. D, is she? Hour 20. It was time for entertainment. Even when the darkest clouds are in the sky, you mustn't cry and you mustn't sigh. Spread a little happiness as you goodbye. Please try. Hour 21. She shows them the delights of belief. I want to see it, doctor. I trust you. I will see the glory. God. I can't see it. Or I can see it, sweet Lord. I can see the glory. It's not terrifying at all. Okay. Hour 22. He's just surrounded by dead bodies. Hour 23. Bzzzt, 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 bzzzt. Did he just eat that fly? That's kind of gross. All right, and we are at the last page of this particular issue. Hour 24. Hello. I'm glad you're here. It was starting to get a bit boring, but you don't look strong enough even to make it interesting. Do you? Next. Dreams End. All right, so I think I'm going to stop here. We got one more issue left in this particular arc, I believe, and maybe we'll just, leave some anticipation for next week and see what happens there. It's also closer to 9 o'clock at this point, and I probably want to relax for a bit before I go to bed. not continue talking until I gotta go to bed. But yeah, I really enjoyed reading these last two chapters. This past one, though, was kind of terrifying. It was a bit of a reminder as to how terrifying it actually was, because you know, there are always things that you can have in like mediums like reading, or like in like text format or comic books, that are very, very difficult to have in like television. It's very, very difficult to do that and do it right and do it justice, but also to like be respectful of those things. Oh, thanks, Adrian. I'm glad you enjoyed or liked my T-shirt. Hopefully you didn't just get here because I am about to end this. But yeah, so just finished reading issue number. So we did 5 and 6 today. So issue number 7 is going to be the end of this particular arc. And yeah, I'm very excited for reading this last arc, because this is a very, very intriguing like first arc for this story. And the further we get in the story, the closer I will be to, not knowing what's happening next. I haven't even read, I think, the entirety of this first book. So it'll be very interesting, like once we finish like the next arc, then I'll be like fully blind reading, and I'm very, very hyped and excited for that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful night. I'll let you guys know if you'll see if it's scheduled. If I end up live streaming tomorrow as well. I'm not certain if I will do that. It'll really just depend on if my car gets here. If it gets here, then I'll probably be doing stuff dealing with that, and I don't really want to constrain myself at that point. But if my car doesn't get here tomorrow, then I will probably still be online. So if you guys end up seeing something scheduled, you'll know. I'll also try to let you guys know in chat. But yeah, have a good night, guys.